Hi there everyone, it's so great to see you, and this week we're talking all about accents again, but this time it's all about what do we listen for in an accent. This is something that comes up every single time that I have a consultation with a potential client who wants to shift their accent. When you think about accents, we usually think about a sound that we hear and then we label it whatever accent that it is. But there are so many different things that make up what an accent actually is. There's so many different technical qualities, so let's jump into them. Firstly, a lot of us who teach accents will teach you the International Phonetic Alphabet. And when you start to understand the alphabet of sounds, we start to understand exactly to which extremity we need to make a sound and how to bridge that gap from our natural sound to this sound to make that change. Sometimes you might want to just go halfway in the middle because you just want to lean towards the sound, but you don't need to necessarily change it for exactly that sound and specifically that one only. Now, after that, we also focus on vowels, and vowels is a huge thing because vowels are actually the hardest thing to learn, in my opinion, because the sounds are so subtle in terms of the shift. And if you don't have enough exposure to that singular sound, how do you retain it and how do you keep it in mind? And how do you know that you're doing it right when you're practicing it, other than following a recording? Now, when you start to look at accents, you start to look at the consonants and the vowels, but there's much more to it than that. Once you have that foundation of really understanding the International Phonetic Alphabet for all of these sounds, you start to see and feel what's going on inside your vocal anatomy to know how it's shifting, which is called proprioception, which is the sensation of the movement of knowing what needs to happen, what type of oral posture you need to have inside your mouth for the specific sounds. Beyond that, there are a couple more different things that we want to look at. So we also need to look at the prosody of that accent itself. Some accents are more melodic, but also others have a completely different intonation as well. So when you start to listen for that, it becomes quite interesting when you compare it to your own, because some of us don't use that much more intonation and perhaps we might use a little bit more volume. I think you can understand that from my accent as a North American, that I do use a lot more volume than intonation. But when I'm in Britain, sometimes I do use a little bit more intonation just because I start to pick it up whilst I'm here. But sometimes it feels like it's okay, and I don't really think about it. But other times it feels like, oh, did I put that on for a second? But that's absolutely normal to start to go through that process and exactly how you are working through changing and shifting your sound. It's fun to play with it, but it doesn't mean that the way that we speak is wrong. It's just that we're playing with it to shift the sound because it makes us feel a little bit more comfortable to try it in a different way perhaps. So when you're starting to look at that, we also need to look at syllable stresses and syllable lengths. Without looking at those things, we might start to say things in the wrong way. But also when you start to look at it, wow, I'm putting all these different little things together and it's starting to become a little bit more seamless. Once we have the intonation, we have the melody, we have the rhythm, the syllable stress, the syllable length, the consonants, and the vowels. Well, yeah, that's quite a bit to work on, but it takes time. This is really what makes up all of these different accents, understanding how they are put together and why they exist the way that they do and how it changes from your own to whatever accent that you're looking to learn. This is something that is pretty hardcore in terms of learning it all in one go, but it's quite interesting once you really get your mind around it. And if you become more curious, it is easier to absorb all of it. So when you're open to listening to different sounds and really starting to play with all these different things, give it a try and see what happens for you. Go YouTube a completely different accent and see if you can replicate some of those sounds just for fun. It is a pretty cool skill to be able to mimic, but it's also very good to have a strong foundation in knowing what you need to do with your vocal anatomy to shift your sound. So, that was quite a bit. I hope that you got something out of this video, and if you enjoyed it, please subscribe to our channel and we look forward to hearing from you soon. Don't forget to click that notification bell up there so you know when our next video uploads, and to join our online Facebook community group here so that you can chat with our SLVC team and learn more about this every single day of the week. All right, that's it for now and see you later. Bye.